Stellantis needs saving from itself, and Volkswagen is suffering from decades of problems. No surprises there, right? There's definitely some serious challenges going on in the auto industry. Starting with Stellantis, they are in trouble right now. The automaker has seen its sales fall, is facing calls to sell off its historic brands, and has launched a search for a new CEO to try and turn things around. CEO Carlos Tavares is getting roasted every way he turns. Hi, I'm Kevin Hunter, known as the Homework Guy for the last 15 years on YouTube. The amazing Elizabeth joins me now to help report on this story.
This has been a story with a lot of history in the making, Kevin. They have tons of vehicles in inventory. The future looks gloomy, and the UAW is even weighing in with thoughts on conditions at the American company, saying quite clearly that the Jeep owner urgently needs to be saved from itself. The United Auto Workers Union has waded into the discussion about the future of Stellantis after the company threatened to backtrack on investments promised for its American facilities, and this was reported by the Detroit Free Press.
A little history here. In September 2024, the Stellantis National Dealer Council publicly expressed concerns about the company's direction, citing reckless short-term decision-making. We've seen that coming. That led to the rapid degradation of iconic American brands like Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, and Dodge. The dealers criticized the company's strategies, attributing them to declining sales and market share in the U.S. These incidents have collectively impacted the reputations of Stellantis' brands, raising concerns about product safety, transparency, and strategic direction. Addressing these issues is crucial for restoring customer trust and maintaining brand integrity, if it can be maintained.
For sure. Stellantis, the multinational automotive manufacturer formed from the merger of Fiat Chrysler Automobiles and PSA Group, is currently navigating a series of significant challenges. Number one is declining sales and market share. The company has experienced a notable drop in sales, particularly in the U.S. market. In the third quarter of 2024, Stellantis reported a 20% decline in U.S. sales, contributing to a 17% decrease over the first 9 months of the year. This downturn has resulted in a loss of market share, with Stellantis falling behind competitors like GM, Toyota, Ford, and even Hyundai. These have been reported in AP News and on the NASDAQ.
Number two, inventory management issues. An overstock of vehicles has led to increased inventory levels, particularly in the U.S. In June 2024, dealer inventories reached over 430,000 vehicles, prompting the company to implement production cuts and offer incentives to reduce stock. If you remember, Liz, we talked about this some time back.
We sure did.
During the inventory reports.
Yep.
Despite these efforts, challenges in aligning production with demand still persist. We have watched the Stellantis inventory levels getting to unreal heights and have wondered frequently when they're going to start shutting things down.
Number three, financial performance concerns. Stellantis has revised its financial forecast downward, now anticipating a potential cash outflow in the negative billions for the year. This adjustment reflects the company's struggles with declining sales and increased competition, particularly from Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers.
Number four, labor unrest and production adjustments. The company faces labor disputes, notably in Italy, where automakers stage a national strike to protest production cuts and demand better working conditions. Additionally, Stellantis plans to halt operations at multiple assembly and engine plants in Italy due to challenging market conditions, further complicating its production strategy. These reports from AP News and Reuters.
Number five, management restructuring. In response to these challenges, Stellantis has initiated significant management changes, including appointing new chief executives for brands like Maserati and Alfa Romeo and new COOs for China and Europe. CEO Carlos Tavares emphasized the necessity of adaptation during these challenging times. The union accused Stellantis of attacking our membership over claims that it was planning to move manufacturing jobs elsewhere, temporarily lay off staff, and cut jobs.
The unions say the job cuts represent just one of the issues at the automaker that owns Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, Dodge, and Fiat brands. The company has struggled to manage inventory, has seen its sales drop in the United States, and is fighting with the UAW, suppliers, dealers, and even shareholders. CEO Carlos Tavares has also announced plans to retire in 2026, so he's jumping ship perhaps before he gets his butt fired.
UAW President Sean Fain, a consistent critic of Tavares, told the crowd, "It's up to the membership to save the company from itself." He accused Stellantis of trying to intimidate union members as they weigh potential strike authorization votes as part of a threatened national strike with robocalls and emails. He called out Tavares for the company's stated plans to shift work to low-cost countries and said the company's cost-cutting is a pathway to a dead end. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Things heating up and displeasure growing between the UAW and Stellantis stems from the Jeep owners' commitment to invest in manufacturing here in America. The union has accused the automaker of failing to live up to its investment commitments, as it has not reopened the Belvidere assembly plant in Illinois. Workers are also concerned about production of the Dodge Durango, as union members have been led to believe that Stellantis will move production out of Windsor, Ontario.
Usually, the union could turn the industrial action to try and force Stellantis' hand and turn fortunes around. This might not work right now, as Fain added that strike action at Stellantis would cripple this company.
Indeed.
That isn't stopping the union from gaining support for strike action at plants operated by Stellantis. In fact, local groups at Trenton, Warren, and Sterling Heights have all passed strike authorization votes in recent weeks.
In other news, Volkswagen has been worrying investors in recent weeks with its falling profits, and claims that it might only have a few years left. Now, it's emerged that these concerns aren't the result of new problems for the automaker and have instead been caused by decades of problems. The Gulf maker announced urgent cost-cutting measures were required if it wanted any hope of survival, and now it's emerged that steps like laying off staff and shutting plants in Germany are all to make up for decades of structural problems, reports Reuters. Company CEO Oliver Bloom made the admission in an interview that was published this weekend, where he said high production costs and struggling sales around the world left Volkswagen in the tricky situation that it finds itself in now.
According to Oliver Bloom, the weak market demand in Europe and significantly lower earnings from China reveal decades of structural problems at Volkswagen. The head of Volkswagen's Works Council said last Monday that the carmaker plans to shut at least 3 factories in Germany, lay off tens of thousands of staff, and shrink its remaining plants in Europe's biggest economy as it plots a deeper-than-expected overhaul. The carmaker has not confirmed those plans, but on Wednesday, it asked its workers to take a 10% pay cut, arguing it was the only way that Europe's biggest carmaker could save jobs and remain competitive. Oliver Bloom said the cost of operating in Germany was a major drag on Volkswagen's competitiveness.
The company has reportedly set aside $975 million to fund its massive cost-cutting measures, which include asking some employees in Germany to accept a 10% pay cut. The automaker is also considering closing at least 3 factories in Germany. Volkswagen has faced numerous internal challenges over the decades, stemming from the combination of governance complexities, strategic missteps, and cultural issues. Some of these challenges include the following.
So, complex governance structure. Volkswagen's unique ownership model involves significant stakes held by the Porsche family, the state of Lower Saxony, and labor unions. This intricate structure often leads to conflicting interests and hampers swift decision-making. Yep, that's not good in business. The involvement of multiple stakeholders can result in bureaucratic inertia, making it difficult to implement necessary reforms or strategic shifts.
That bureaucracy is the kiss of death in many places.
Yep.
And also cultural and ethical issues. The Dieselgate scandal of 2015 exposed deep-seated ethical lapses within Volkswagen. The company admitted to installing software in diesel vehicles to cheat emissions tests, leading to significant financial penalties and reputational damage. This incident highlighted a corporate culture that prioritized sales and market share over compliance and integrity.
Well, that was certainly creative. There have also been strategic missteps and market challenges. Volkswagen has faced difficulties adapting to market shifts, particularly in the EV sector. The company has been criticized for being slow to transition from traditional combustion engines to EVs, allowing competitors to gain a foothold in this growing market. Additionally, Volkswagen's reliance on the Chinese market has exposed it to vulnerabilities, especially with the rise of local competitors offering more affordable alternatives.
Lastly, there have been internal management and operational hurdles to deal with. The company has grappled with internal inefficiencies, including failed software projects and production challenges. For instance, the Carriod software initiative under former CEO Herbert Diess faced significant setbacks, delaying the development of Volkswagen's EV software capabilities. Such operational issues have impeded Volkswagen's ability to compete effectively in the rapidly evolving automotive landscape. And whoever thought up Dieselgate was a genius.
That's kind of funny.
But it's not all bad news in Europe, however, as Volvo reports that it's doing okay, actually. The Swedish car maker posted a 3% increase in global sales in October, which it said was a result of strong demand for EVs in markets such as Europe.
Volvo sold 61,686 cars during the month of October, which is up 3% compared to the same period last year, reports the Wall Street Journal. The Swedish brand attributed much of its growth to electric models, with the automaker adding cars like the EX30 to its range this year. Volvo has been boisterous on its ambition to go electric in recent years. The EX30 is positioned as an entry-level EV in many markets, and despite some issues, has gone on to sell well for the Swedish company. Next will come the brand's flagship EV, the EX90. After being plagued with delays, the flagship SUV is set to finally begin rolling out across America this year.
That's a wrap on Stellantis, Volkswagen, and Volvo. With some news on our hassle-free car buying service, we continue growing our car coaching staff as the number of participants in our service grows with every passing month. Our most recent addition to our staff is a former sheriff deputy who's a good friend of mine.
Yep.
And he said something interesting to me during a recent phone conversation as we were discussing negotiation strategies. He said, I can tell your viewers what to do if they're pulled over to help them get out of a traffic ticket. I thought,
whoa,
interesting. I wonder if our audience would like to hear that show. How to get out of a ticket at a traffic stop. If you definitely would like to know or hear that show, let me know. If we get enough positive responses, we'll bring our former sheriff deputy, Jeremy, into the studio to discuss strategies for getting out of a traffic ticket.
There you go. Anyway, for anyone who has a question about how our hassle-free car buying service works, go to our website, thehomeworkguy.com. Find it in the pull-down menu on the right side of the homepage.
You should also be aware that when you hire us for our hassle-free car buying service, either Liz or I will personally take every intake call. You get to talk directly to us, and we are the only show hosts that offer this level of personalized service on YouTube.
Thanks to all of you out there in our audience for coming back. We greatly appreciate your loyalty. And if you want our direct help in your car deal and have difficulty navigating the website, you can simply text me today at 701-441-3399, and I will steer you in the right direction.
To all of our longtime subscribers, you guys rock. God bless you all. I'm Kevin Hunter, the Homework Guy, home of the only totally hassle-free car buying service, signing off on behalf of the amazing Elizabeth and the entire hassle-free Homework Guy team. Thanks for listening.